So now I'm going to show you how to find plugins, add plugins, and where plugins show up. So let's first click into plugins. What you'll notice is that I already have 5 plugins here, and depending on your installation of WordPress, these may have came with your installation of WordPress. But anyways, this is the area where you can activate or deactivate your plugins. So if I hover over a deactivated plugin, it'll ask me if I want to activate it. If I hover over a activated plugin, it'll ask me if I want to deactivate it. I'll also have the option to edit this plugin, which will require me to know code, or I can delete this plugin. Similar to how you can have many themes installed but not active, you can also have a lot of installed plugins, but not all be active. However, unlike themes, you can have multiple plugins activated at the same time. Something to be aware of is that some plugins, when activated together, might cause some conflict. So if you experience some negative change to your site after activating a plugin, try deactivating the plugin and see if things go back to normal. So up here it'll tell you how many active plugins you have, how many inactive plugins you have, and also have an area for any updates that are needed for your plugins. Also, drop-ins are advanced plugins that replace functionality for your WordPress site. So now let's find and add a plugin. So we'll scroll up here and click on Add New. The second way you can add a plugin is by your left navigation and clicking on Add New. So let's scroll up here and click on to Add New. So the ways you can find and install a plugin are to search for them, to upload your own plugin in a zip folder, sort by featured, popular, newest, or you can also add plugins to your favorites. But favorites requires you to have a WordPress.org account, and you can add plugins to your favorites. By default, you're in the search screen already, so let's search for a plugin. I'll typically type in some keywords that describe what I am looking for, or if I know the plugin's name directly, I'll type that in. Another good way to find plugins is to do some Google searches, such as the term WordPress plugin contact form, and see what results come up and what others are saying about them. Then find out the name of a specific plugin and search for it and install it. In this example, I'm going to search for a contact form. So in this search box right here, I'm going to go ahead and type in contact form and click on search plugins. Now you'll see that a list of plugins have come up that match the criteria for my search term contact form. The first thing you should read is the description right here about the plugin so you can see if this does the functionality you're searching for. Also pay attention to the rating. This is important because you want to stay away from any plugins that have poor ratings. I personally like to only use plugins that have at least a 4-star rating. The next thing I'll do is click into details. This will give me a longer description about this plugin and also provides FAQ and support links. The FAQ and support links will help you out if you have any problems with setting up the settings for the plugin once it is installed. It is best to seek help from the author of this plugin because they usually provide documentation for initial setup and troubleshooting. Other things I like to look at to make sure this is a good plugin is to check when it was last updated. So in this case, it was updated 2 weeks ago, which is a great sign that they're keeping this plugin up to date with the WordPress changes. You also want to be aware of plugins that haven't been updated in a long time, because they might be out of date and it could cause some conflicts with your version of WordPress. Another important factor is the number of times it has been downloaded. It only makes sense that if more people are using this plugin, that there will be more support and that there also is probably more people talking about this plugin in case you need to do any alterations or troubleshooting. So now let's go up here and click into installation. This will give you the instructions necessary to manually install this plugin. You can also install the plugin by clicking on this blue Install Now button. And then let's click into screenshots. This will give you a sneak peek into what this plugin will look like on the front end and also what it'll look like on the back end. So now let's scroll back up and click into changelog. Changelog will show you all the changes that have happened with each new update of this plugin. So lastly, let's click into FAQs. So FAQ is where you'll find some answers to frequently asked questions. But also something to note is, depending on the plugin and the author of the plugin, this entire details page may look different and the links available up here may be more or less. And that's completely based on what the plugin author wanted to include. So the details page for other plugins may not look like this. Okay, so everything looks pretty good for this particular plugin, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Installed Now. Now you should see a page that looks like this. This looks very similar to when we installed themes, right? If you want to activate the plugin, which will make its features and functionality come into effect, then I'll click on Activate Plugin. Otherwise, I could just click back into Installed Plugins and I'll see that Contact Form 3.70 has been added to my installed plugins list. But in this example, I do want to activate the features of this plugin, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Activate Plugin. So up here, it'll ask you to upgrade to the paid pro version, but right now we're not going to. So I'm going to click on this X button here and close that ad. Next, I'll show you how to start using this plugin.